So, Brett, when we look at the performance against Alabama, you called it a bad performance. And I don't think there's any question about that this Georgia team can play better than that. Uh, how much do you attribute it, though, to just an off day versus showing you some areas to be concerned about going into a college football playoff situation? Maybe a defensive front that wasn't as dominant against an Alabama offensive line that struggled against the likes of LSU and Auburn recently. That comes to mind. Of course, the secondary got torched at times. Some units that has consistently, especially the defensive front, played outstanding the entire year, not performing in the SEC championship game. And again, concerns versus off game.
I think both can be true. I think it can both be true. I think with the coaching staff that you have at Alabama, and you have to consider that whenever they've had to win a big game, and I'll say Ole Miss, for example, they had a great game plan against Ole Miss. They did a great job against Ole Miss. Maybe they weren't as concerned against Auburn. Maybe they kind of got, for lack of a better way of saying it, surprised by Auburn. And then they kind of had to play catch up. But they did a great job. I honestly feel like without Bryce Young, they wouldn't have won that game. He played phenomenal. So I think Georgia went up 10-0, maybe got a little overconfident at one point, and then kind of got punched in the mouth. And then Alabama just continued to roll. You add into the equation that Stetson Bennett made some bad choices and some bad decisions. You add in some bad choices and decisions by some defensive players who blew assignments or blew coverages. And those things kind of culminated. And it was really a circus of errors at some point. But, hats off to Alabama. Whether Georgia was making mistakes or not, they were playing 100%. And it certainly seemed like, especially after reviewing tape, Georgia's defense was not playing with the same level of intensity and physicality that we had seen previously. Now, when I say physicality and intensity, I'm not just talking about performing physical blocks. I'm talking about watching linebackers that would run from the weak side all the way across the field to run down a running back, especially an injured running back like Brian Robinson, who had a great night even though he was injured. They were able to run down some elite running backs this season, and because you saw the effort. But it really seemed like in this game we really didn't see that effort. Does that mean that's why Alabama won? Certainly, that's not the only reason. But there's multiple reasons why Alabama won that game. And a big one is sometimes it just really seemed like Georgia either thought they were owed that game or didn't put up the best performance. And then there was other times when Alabama was just punching us in the mouth. So you put those two together, it's just a recipe for disaster.